place, and Paul is writing to Romans about the relationship what he has with them. What type of relationship? Was it mutualistic or commensalistic or parasitic? So that is the thing what he talks. Actually, in some of the text we can see he blames Judaism for being only a sectarian religion. That is only for the Jews, nobody else. So we saw Prophet Jonah, example for excellence for this kind of parasitic mentality, and most of us also we do that in our own community. Sometimes we operate on parasitism. We want to hurt others. So at least commensalistic is good. You benefit. You in the process you don't leave that person affected. But in parasitic, we make sure that he is affected. So that is the mentality we have in our among clergy, among religious. It is a paranoia. It is a sickness. So this is what we are encountering. I want to tell you a small. You must have heard about one incident. There was a bishop. He went for a conference of Bishops' Conference of India, somewhere in the south. He went there, and then there was a free time, and he went to the beach with the secretary. Of course, secretary tags along with the bishop. You know that very well. So secretary was also there, and Bishop went to swim, and then he was swimming, and then suddenly a wave came and took the bishop. So then he was going on screaming and putting the hand up, and then secretary saw that. Oh my God, I didn't know that bishop doesn't know swimming. Why the heck he came to the beach? He could have stayed in the bathroom. Then he ran, and there was also no air to pull him, no air. So at last he pulled his collar, somewhere jetty or something, he brought it back, put him on. Why did you tell me, Bishop, Your Excellency, that you don't know swimming? Then he told, yeah, I don't know swimming, yeah. Then at last, after dressing up in the room, and then he called the secretary and he told, really you did a marvelous job of saving me. So I want to give you something good. So you tell me, you name me, what do you want? I will do the thing. He was going on harassing the secretary. I will give you, tell me, just name it. So Bishop, your name, so what I will do? So this is what how we treat parasitic. I stood up and condemning that place. Why did you say it? So this is how, even though it is traced with comedy, but that is how we see. We ask the brothers, no, அவன் எப்படி இருக்கான்? நல்லா இருக்கான்னா, you don't like that. What you want to see is he is suffering. Then only you will engage in conversation. Otherwise, you close the subject, you will talk about COP26. So that's how we do. We all the time, even when you buy a newspaper, you buy the newspaper to see all these parasitic news. Accident took place, 70 people died, and then tsunami came, took 1 million people away, earthquake. Then interestingly you read, if you take it and see a person saved a boy from the well and so on, those kind of stuff you don't want. You throw the paper, I put the 2 rupees I paid for it. It's waste of money. Gossip, full media. We are only bystanders. We want to look exactly other people's are parasitic. Our mind is full of parasitic tendencies. That's what Paul is talking today in the first reading. Parasitic. I mean, Jews only that God is for only for us? No. Also Gentiles. That is the subject. The first reading is about Gentiles. God belongs to everybody, the whole of creation. He can't be contained in a box. He has to be open. He is free to everybody, mutualistic. So Paul is bringing Jesus' concept mutualistic to everybody. Everybody should benefit. The gospel also, it is very clear today. Jesus puts it very nicely about the stewardship, about the servant, how we behave smart. So he's telling you should be mutualistic, how you treat your own brother. That is the epicenter of our life. How you treat others. Is it the relationship is mutualistic? That means it's fine. Commensalistic? Fine. The last one, parasitic. That is not at all acceptable. That is not at all acceptable in a community life. So that is what the Master is so proud that he treated his inferiors with respect, and he gave possibility. He gave alternative options to redeem himself. That's why he told, sit down, write 80. You owe 100 measures, reduce it, 80, 50. See how he mitigating. When we are in the position of leadership and so on, most of the times this is the option we get, no? People come and they expect something or some favor or something, and then we should not be that harsh. Always we give them options. Even among the brothers, superiors and so on, we give options. This you do, otherwise you do that, you do that. This is the way you go. You see, legislation can go only that far, but persuasion can go all the way. That is what Ashoka writes again in the Pillar Edict of 7. He writes, I enforced my ideas in two ways. One is legislation, another one is persuasion. That is mutualistic. Legislation is cut and right. This is what you should do. Sometimes even parasitic for some people. But mutualistic persuasion. He writes like this. I banned fishing. I banned killing of animals. That's it. Actually, he writes, I ban not to kill any animals. That is what he writes. But you, not only killing animal is sinful, also catching fish is sinful. Also castrating an animal is sinful. See, the persuasion method goes beyond legislation and makes legislation old, unnecessary. Throw it away. You don't want it. So persuasion can have better effect than legislation. That's what Ashoka writes in the Pillar Edict, number 7. Written 350 BC. I'm talking about persuasion. A monarch like Ashoka. That's why Jesus goes. Actually, you should read the book what I wrote, no? That Ashoka's Dhamma and Jesus Christ, the Kingdom of God, in book you have. If you read that, I have written there. Take 3rd chapter and you find there that persuasion. I'm discussing a lot of things under that edict. So here, Ashoka, unbelievable. That's why Jesus says, law to persuasion he comes. Your ancestors have written, thou shalt not kill. But I tell you, don't even call fool others. Your ancestors have written that adultery, a man sleeping with another woman. But I tell you, the persuasion method he talks about. Even when you look somebody, you have committed adultery. Persuasion. Only the legislation, but the interpretation you give. That is persuasion. Actually, legislation should induce persuasion. That is how I can tell. Because in the church, I can't throw out legislation. Can and love it or want it. No. That is anathema. You hang on to legislation, but you go to persuasion. That will be much deeper, and probably it is very meaningful for our life. So today, you can examine the areas where some legislations you may not like it. You may not like it. But you go to persuasion, attitude, the spirit, and then probably you will go beyond that legislation. Beyond that legislation. Very happily you will go. When transfer comes, you see as a legislation I'm being punished. But you see as an opportunity or a chance. In a persuasion method, it becomes a chance. It becomes an opportunity to become I will. Actually, in my life, I always speak the truth and so on. So always it draws attention, from authorities and so on. So now Bishop wants, I'm outspoken sometimes, I know, but that is my nature. I don't do it purposely, it comes naturally. And then Bishop always put me in a small parish, small border parishes. So for me, I love that. He doesn't know that. I love only small parishes. But he thought, I'm going to punish Raya. But he thought it was a burden for me. But I thought conceived as a blessing for me. There I went. I began to write books. Yeah. You put one obstacle, you think it's an obstacle, but for me it's an opportune stepping stone to reach to the stars. That is the place I had a lot of time. And the people are so beautiful, wonderful people. That parish is known as the punishment area. Like your Montfort in Once Upon a Time. Montfort was a punishment area. I heard that when I was a seminarian. My mother placed Bangalore, Kandige, just about 4 kilometers or 3 kilometers from. So we used to go to Montfort and so on. This is punishment area. That's all our teachers. So like that, there was one parish, Alapa. So that was a punishment area. They were not punishing the priest or the brothers in this mindset. They were punishing the poor people there. They were punishing the poor students in Bangalore. So, we think that it's a punishment day, but we are punishing not the brothers, not the priests, punishing ultimately the people there. So I went there very happy, and then I brought books, and I used to bring books every year, one book to Bishop I gave. Then I'll ask him to write something, and he will write. Then we used to wonder, this man, I thought he will be drinking and he will be depressed, but this man is writing books now. So they left me alone. Then I became like this, going around the world, because I had more time. People were calling me, so slowly I went here and there. Then I went to international level. At last, Bishop had to tell him, what do you want to do, man? You are called here and there. I want to, 25 years I obeyed. So I was in the parish, anthropocentric. Parish life is only human-centered ministry. I was serving only humans. Sacraments are designed for only humans. Mass, prayer, everything only for humans. So now, 25 years if I live, so that is my jubilee time. I didn't celebrate my jubilee. So 25 years over, now I told Bishop, now I want to live differently. witnessing to the truth. Jesus told them, witnessing to the truth. That is another big mission we have to do, every one of us. That's very important, because all your life when you work in the school, you always imagine, no, I want to do that, I want the congregation is not allowing me to do that, the provincial is telling no, I want to do this. So that is the second part, witnessing to the church. Always it's a contribution to the church. Always come with permission, you should do. Then I told my bishop, if you allow, I'm going to witness to the truth. How are you going to? You see, now I'm going to become the parish priest of the earth, not the parish priest of Alapakam. 25 years, I am eligible now to become the parish priest of the earth, because earth needs a parish priest. So far, never appointed by the church. I'm the first one to be appointed by you. So you appoint me. I will go and preach to the creation, because Mark chapter 16, 15, go and preach to the creation, in which humans are only one small bit of it. So 2000 years we have been preaching only to humans, sidelining the rest of creation. So that's how I explained. He was so happy. From that time onwards, appreciation, and then he used to be proud. One priest from Bangalore is going there, very proud. Oh, this is how we should see. Don't see things when they happen for a reason. Our inability to find the reason, that makes you to suffer. When you see through, that is the passion death for you, but you've forgotten resurrection is going to come up. We forget that. So this is a beautiful love. Actually, all this suffering is a resource to be used. Resource. We see as a something destroying force. No, it is a creative force in you, which will make you more complex and more elevated. So, my dear brothers, our life should be seen as mutualistic relation. We should be always in mutualistic relationship. Yeah. Never drift to parasitic. Parasitic is very dangerous. At last, when it enters, you lose yourself. The other person also loses himself. Satyanasha, finished. Everything is gone. So before it happens, let us wake up. Let us climb on the ladder, as Jesus says. At last, that master says, excellent, that servant really behaved intelligently. Because mutualistic relationship has three important characteristics: responsibility, faithfulness, accountability. That's what Jesus said. Give your accounts. Yeah, give your accounts. So these three should be implied in mutualistic relationship. Once they become absent, you end up in commensalism, at last parasitism. So in order to come back to mutualistic relationship, these are the three characteristics you need to restore in your role of steward: responsibility, faithfulness, accountability.